Boy
me a
Link.
second.
No, second's over.
I just face palmed.
Good.
Sure.
That is a reaction. That is a reaction I enjoy causing.
In
everyone. Definitely not taking this and putting it in other places.
You can if you want. I can't stop you.
No, you can't. For I am unstoppable.
There exists one certain
I'm not in the...
I forgot to move over your mini. Don't worry about it too much.
No.
Considering everything.
Yes, I fully... Discord, I fully understand I am notifying a very large server using the @everyone. Stop asking me if I'm certain!
I mean, Discord is trying to keep, nukes from happening.
I almost never ping everyone, unless it's something really important.
I should ping everyone more often.
Anyways, hello everyone and welcome. Unfortunately, Mumsy was kidnapped by his work and will not be able to join us today. They should be able to join us next week. As for why I'm not too concerned about this, I imagine everyone here is well aware of that one time during Dice Sesh where Mumsy was gone for like a solid, arc.
A half an arc, to be sure, if you want to be exact about it. Hey, I painted to that specific arc. I painted the house as old as me to that arc.
Fair
Don't
enough.
worry, kid. Don't worry, kids. If all else fails, I'll just fly over to Britain and kidnap him.
Please do not.
No!
If you're going to do that, at least wait until he finishes his TB treatment.
Okay, I can wait till then.
Yeah, because...
If only so he's not contagious. Anyway, so hello everyone and welcome. We are going to run down introducing ourselves, and since Mumsy is not here, Stug, you go first. Broads, you go first. The caffeine's taking a minute to metabolize properly.
Hi, I'm here, or the Bronze Knight. I am a subscriber to her who apparently is now trying to reconsider whether or not I should trip down a bit on the support to Dice Sesh because recession.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I might cut my spending to that for a few months.
That's okay. Just so long. Hey, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're gonna move on to introducing your character.
Yeah, it's post stuff. I play Akagita, half of Sword Saint, who is, well, she's basically the party Eva. If you get that reference.
Our assigned adult.
I know.
Finally caught the beginning. Nice to see you, Dragon Rider.
Yeah. Yeah, she is basically that. And now we're on to... Let me check. Dad.
I'm John, the father of Bronze, and I was invited to join this game, and I think it's very nice. I play Merrick, a halfling scout that is somewhat too fond of fine wine.
This will be fun to deal with later.
Yeah.
Because you are small, and most alcohols are made with the big folk in mind.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Next.
Stug.
Oh, I am Stug, son of light artillery, descendant of two racehorses pulling a field cannon. I play Ed Redshirt, the inbred son of an inbred noble who fights an inbred human noble fighter who must regain his family's honor.
And undo the accidental inbreeding.
Yeah, there is also that.
Because that was not on purpose.
Okay, next is Rep, I think.
I'm Walter, son of Walter, descendant of Walter, and the guy that Stug is stealing that intro from. Also known as the Reptile King. I will be playing Ander, our summoner with a giant crocodile, and the party still doesn't know everything about. So
he is a summoner.
have fun with that. Yeah, we've been through that.
Yes, he is the summoner class, and Grimgarl is technically an entity classified as an Eidolon. Of course, what that means is, when he's not summoned, Grimgarl is buggering around the material plane somewhere, being a general menace.
Like,
Yes, I don't know where Grimgarl. We don't know where Grimgarl's at when he's not
so
summoned.
he's
But
basically Hana.
To some degree.
Grimgarl is a menace to society.
In an entirely different way.
Then
Yes.
short stack Kitsune.
Then...
So to explain what Bronze is commenting on, Susan and I are also part of another campaign that is still, the first episode is still being edited.
It's a big one, and I have work a lot of the day.
Yep. So it is a Spacepire campaign to celebrate Wizards of the Coast's new relationship with their fan base.
Hey, you didn't slip up and call it Games Workshop this time.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. We're rolling in with it. That one should be an exciting campaign for everyone, and
The reason
will he be biting more dragons? Yes, Grimgarl will probably be biting more dragons in the future. Depends on if the dragon comes close enough. And if not, we have ways of dealing with that.
Yeah, and I will say this, the reason it's taking so long to edit is, some members of the campaign throw around the F-bomb like it's a comma, and I need to do something with that.
Why
I mean, you don't have to do it for the Subscribe Star version, which will be available soon.
As soon as the Subscribe Star gets through the approval process.
You can
Yes.
use whenever they do that, you can use the standard beep that standard.
Yeah, no.
beep.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry, Susan. Don't worry, Susan. I have some ideas for comedic censorship.
Right. Anyways.
I'll help you out with that later.
Yes.
It's
And
your
I'm
campaign,
Monster Review Girl, the DM. I am technically hurting these cats. May God have mercy on my soul.
And don't forget Vesta.
And
that you have help.
And I play Vesta, the party's changeling druid. When we converted her, I had to do some shuffling around of exactly what flavor of tiefling, but we can come back to that. Not tiefling, changeling. Son of
She's
a...
a tiefling now.
Son of a... Wrong word!
He has fallen. He has fallen. Corrupted by demons.
Well, the reason I slipped up like that is because in a different campaign, I am playing a tiefling. Who is named very similarly.
Ah.
Confused! But oh well. Anyway, so, when last we saw our heroes, technically, the party had gotten to the gates of the city. Ed had dropped off his report with an expedition fee, and had returned to his party members at the guild hall. You are all at the guild hall, enjoying a quiet evening. What are you guys doing?
I'm
Ed sits sits down and simply talks and simply and decides to start off the conversation. Since we're here at the Capitol, I thought I'd treat y'all to a little something. A lot of us a lot of us elector princes know of a certain are privileged with the knowledge of a certain. But the fun it's a bit of a weird deal. It was actually a deal between some of the culinary guilds who specialize in quality over quantity, and the royal family of various nobilities. Basically, they send the a lot of their most promising journeymen up here, and we have a meal hall where every meal is quite literally a masterpiece. Best part is, it's built. Best part is, the bill comes out as a deduction to that guild's tax burden. So those of you who know about my particular run-in with my particular deal with the Inquisition, for you, Ander, basically, my entire family got murdered, and now I have to go on a journey to prove my father did in fact get robbed. So, tomorrow night, pick out as much as you
what are you Rep, what are you doing to your mini?
I found buttons.
Yes, you did. Cease.
Sorry, I found the buttons.
Vesta thinks for a minute. So what you're saying is you'd like to take the party to this establishment as both a nice favor to us and as a way for you to build some social connections and maybe further your investigation.
Yeah. Oh, that's part out of character. I just completely Tess. Yeah. Oh, Tess actually isn't being paid for. Isn't going to be paid for out of my district's tax burden. It's going to be paid for by the Clampett family as part but not in whole of the recompense to what has been done to her.
And also the fact that that's technically where I was registered as living.
Yeah, but like I said, I have privileges to bring quite a few guests, including I think I have enough spots open to bring to bring our lovely Trider along.
Assuming she doesn't panic the waitstaff, I don't see why not.
Okay.
I can fly. I can. Okay, you go first, Ander.
Ander just kind of shrugs his chin for a moment, thinking, I would prefer to keep a low profile.
We
could just go. Yeah, alright. If you don't want to come, you don't have to.
It sounds very nice. Marek is considering a free meal and, in particular, some free wine. A good idea. So.
Yep. Basically, it's just, hey, this seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this, Ander. You do know that you do remember at about this time that your contact is in town. You don't know for how long though, because he tends to travel.
Okay. Ander stands up from the table and looks to Tess. Tess, I'll be going to deal with some magic business. If you'd like to learn more of the trade, you may come with me.
I think I should, regardless.
Yeah, that Akiki just kind of sort of go. Akiki just kind of sort of goes, yeah, it's best if Tess goes.
Ander nods, and he looks around the guild hall This is an adventurers guild, correct? I'm not.
Yes. This is an
burping out here.
adventurers guild hall. There's some other parties sort of scattered about, but they are all either attending to official business with the receptionist, or you see them going upstairs to bed.
Okay. Is there like a bounty board? at the
Yes,
guild
there
hall
is. In
for,
fact, your
like,
mini
missions and
is.
wanted posters?
Yes, as a matter of fact, your character is standing right near it.
Wonderful. Ander is going to go
Have a
over there
looky-loo.
and check it out. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna DM something.
Okay. I can make a guess as to what you're looking for.
I'm also going to do a.
All right. So, is what he's looking for what he is looking for on it?
No, but you do see a poster put up by what you remember as being a guild very heavily dedicated, being a member. There is one with a crest you recognize as being heavily tied to the engineering and magic item crafting side of magic.
Okay.
It would appear that one of their number has had an automaton go missing, and they're willing to pay quite handsomely for its return.
Okay. We'll be keeping note on that.
Also, I did send a direct message.
Okay.
All right. Well, after browsing it real fast, he makes note of the automaton bounty before moving on. Are we in evening time, or are we?
It's
Or
like
we got more time in the day?
afternoon, evening.
Okay.
It,
So yeah.
shops have not closed up yet, but it's getting
We're
towards
getting
the end of the
end
day.
Okay. So, would now be a good time for him to go see his contact, or
Go right
should I wait
ahead.
on that? All right. Ander heads out with Tess, see about meeting that contact.
Okay, I will say your contact did tell you where they were going to be, so you guys could meet up fairly easily.
Okay, cool. So, Ander brings his new apprentice with him as he goes to that location.
Yep. So you meet your contact. I'm not changing the map for this because changing player perspective for a map would mean hauling everybody along.
Got it. So, we're just
And
gonna
that's just several layers of unnecessary.
We're just gonna put Ander over here outside of the normal map, so everyone.
Outside of the field
He's
of view.
Yeah, he's just gone for everybody.
He will return.
Yeah, he'll return while they're busy doing whatever they're doing. So Ander and his contact.
Yep. So you arrive at where you were going to meet your contact, and you see them. They are, you'd guess, some flavor of half-elf. You're not sure you're not sure what type, but in your mind it's never really mattered.
So pretty standard half elf.
Yeah,
Got
half-elf
it.
of some flavor. Not sure
Got
what,
it.
but some flavor.
Probably takes after their human side a little bit more and make it a little bit all that more ambiguous.
Yep. And they just sort of look at you, look at Tess, then look at you. So, who's the kid?
Ah, crap.
She is currently my apprentice. She's had exposure to draconic magic that's awakening sorceress abilities.
Ah.
He sits down. Yeah. Ender sits down with the gentleman. He has with him the container holding the extracted organs and samples from the bronze dragon that he had taken that were not going to be used as crafting materials.
Yep. He kind of looks at the bag on the table. I'm guessing that's some sort of component you want to trade with me for.
Indeed. I've recently come across a rather rare find. A bronze dragon corrupted by Shadowfell magic.
Interesting.
Yep. I ended up having to fell it. It had been driven mad by the darkness. However, I did take tissue samples as well as collected a lung and heart, as well as a fundamentum.
If it weren't you, I'd be surprised how how you got the fundamentum out without exploding.
Great difficulty, I assure you.
Fair enough. So, mind if I have a look?
Ander nods and opens the bag, pulling out the various samples and laying out the heart, lung, and fundamentum for him to inspect. This was laid out over some sterilized leather that is kind of working as a
tablecloth.
Tablecloth in the work area.
I don't want the microphone to be from the graphics card. We know that doesn't work.
We're talking to your Linux. Never works anyway.
He puts on a pair of gloves and gently sort of pokes and prods the various organs. Interesting. Seems the morphology is generally unchanged.
Indeed. Though the magical nature has certainly shifted. The beast's breath was purple and was more necrotic in nature.
Interesting. Was the creature's lair affected as well?
It was. It was very heavily tainted with dark magic. I've also acquired a tainted artifact. I believe it was the source of the dragon's corruption.
Interesting.
I'll be taking the amulet to remove the curses from it. I believe it may be useful in dealing with a different dragon.
Ah, interesting. I will say this. Normally, I'd ask an adventurer to get these things for me, but it's always a toss-up whether or not they'll actually get you what you need. You, on the other hand, I know you'll always get me what I need.
Well, I'm one of the few who would know how.
Without
what exactly
blowing themselves up.
What exactly do you want?
Well, these will be crucial for my research. He gently prods the fundamentum. Interesting. Granted, the internal workings of metallics are very rarely examined because they don't tend to come into conflict with mortals.
Indeed. Killing a metallic dragon is generally an unwise decision as is.
However, since you are reacting in self-defense, I wholeheartedly believe it shouldn't be an issue.
I doubt it. A shadowed metallic dragon likely would be a blight in the eyes of their brethren.
So what was its... You said its base color was a bronze?
Indeed.
He gently sort of prods and picks up the organ. Using the other fundamentums we've been able to study as a baseline, it is heavily discolored.
It was. I doubt the purple color is due to any bruising. Though my summons was quite violent with it.
You still have that thing.
I don't think I'd be able to get rid of it even if I wanted to.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I would be willing to part ways with these samples, as I don't have the facilities to properly research them. However, I would like something in return.
What do you need? What would you like? I might be able to get it for you.
A fundamentum of a particularly rare dragon. An orange dragon.
Oranges. Those are the ones where their breath bursts, yes?
Correct.
I can try, but I may have to find an alternative with similar effect.
The breath weapon, the magic of the breath weapon is what I'm interested in. I'm going to do. Yeah, I intend to do some experiments with incorporating new magics in my summons. I feel that would be particularly useful for it.
I'm not surprised on that front. Just in case I'm unable to find the type of fundamentum you need, I might be able to find an alternative that has a similar effect. Or at the very least in incorporating different elements. What element does it have right now? Fire, if I recall correctly?
Yes.
I'll see what I can do about acquiring something that will complement that.
That would be helpful. I would like the explosive effect if possible, but if not, I may have to settle.
Yes, I'll see what I can do.
Wonderful. I'll entrust these samples to you then. I look forward to finding what to seeing what your finds are.
He looks at Tess, and then you see him sort of double take for a moment. As you do notice that one of Tess's scale patches, one of the multicolor ones, has actually spread to be visible out from under her clothes, and it's actually visible on her neck. What on earth? Forgive me.
Ander places a hand on Tessa's shoulder, somewhat protectively, before he says, "She was subjected to highly unethical experimentation at the hands of someone who is extremely incompetent."
I'm not going to ask what the intended result was.
You likely don't want to know. Though I would say that if you have any information regarding Cult of Tiamat, they should be reported to the proper authorities quickly.
Cults of Tiamat. I haven't heard anything about their activities, but I have been hearing people asking around. But you're not the first person who's asked me about them.
I see.
First,
do you think it would be possible that they would have anything to do with corrupting our bronze dragon here?
It would be a hypothesis until I could prove otherwise, but it is a distinct possibility. Granted, anything's possible, really.
That's fair enough. Especially when cults get involved. Their ideas of magic are rarely accurate.
They are unstable at best.
All right then. When can I expect to see the sample you intend to deliver me? I'll be leaving very soon. There is a village under threat from a blue dragon that our bronze was in contact with.
Oh? Which village is it? I might be able to help with what you can expect from the dragon.
What was the name of the village? Fuck.
That's a odd name for a village.
Well, Well, I think it was Ravens something something. You knew it was it's 2 weeks to, like, the north.
Raven's
Well,
Loft, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Raven's Loft. The village is Raven's Loft. Because I know we were like halfway between it. It was 2 weeks for the dragon to fly and a week for us to travel there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like 3 or 4 days from here.
Yeah.
The village is Raven's Loft. About 3 or 4 days travel from here.
Ah, that place. Little border thing, yeah?
Indeed. The bronze dragon apparently took offense to something the villagers are doing, and intends. The blue dragon apparently took offense to something the villagers are doing, and intends to wreak its vengeance upon them.
The concern...
If
Knowing a... Raven's Loft. How far away was the dragon?
the dragon said she would take about 2 weeks to get there, she had spoken to us through a waystone?
Sending stone.
Sending stone. She had spoken to us through a sending stone, believing us to be a servant of its ally.
Interesting. I've never heard of bronzes allying with blues, but if its behavior was being affected by the amulet, I would not be surprised. Anything's possible then, really.
Indeed. Usually a bronze would only ally with a green if it chose to speak with a chromatic dragon.
Yes, give me 1 moment. I'm going to need to look into the blues in the area and see if I can find anything.
I would appreciate the information if you can. I think that if the cult of Tiamat was not involved with corrupting our bronze, she most likely was.
Right, especially since they had sending stones connecting each other. Do you still have the
Yes.
other half?
I do still have the sending stone, yes.
Could I see it for a moment?
Ander nods before pulling out the giant agate that was
Like the size. It's like it's like the size of your head.
Yeah. He pulls out this skull-sized agate and lays it down on the table.
Just thunk.
Yeah.
Goodness. I'm used to sending
It is
stones
dragon.
being a size where you could put them in a ring or in an earring. Although, to be
It is
fair, it was
dragon
owned by a
size.
dragon. Let me
Indeed.
see. You hear him sort of mumbling something under his breath in a language you've heard him say before, but you never quite asked what it was. Past a certain point, you just figured it wasn't important.
Yeah.
His hands kind of glow for a moment, and then he touches it, and after just a second, he kind of brings his hands away. So I have good news, and I have some questionable news. Good news.
What is it?
I know where the other half of the stone is. Of the set, I mean.
Oh.
Bad news is, I think I know which dragon you're about to be dealing with. I don't know their name, but I know of their reputation.
Any information you could provide would be useful.
They're
What's
larger
this
than...
dragon known for?
Well, they're known for being quite large, even for an adult. They're known for being quite large, and the breath weapon is surprisingly potent for their age.
I see. Perhaps an overdeveloped fundamentum is affecting it.
If you're able to down it, I would like to have a look.
As would I.
Now, because of just as the DM real quick, I'm assuming a fundamentum is like the size of like a baseball.
I think it varies on the dragon's age, and I'm pretty sure there's not an official
Size for a fundamentum?
information. So DM's prerogative, we will say.
Okay, I'll say that the one you've got is like the size of a baseball.
Okay.
But to be fair, but you're not sure this animal, you're not, again, metallics and their breath weapons aren't exactly well studied, and their fundamentums are not well studied.
Yeah. Though, I'm due to the fact metallics have variety in their breath. Well, actually, I forgot if they have that in Pathfinder.
They do.
Okay, so given the fact that metallics have variety in their breath weapon, there'll probably be some differences.
Yeah.
Between
Yeah,
the
I'm
fundamentals.
looking at the stat block for a metallic right now, and yeah, it has it has the 2 breath weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yes, I'll get in touch with you once I am able to study these organs more thoroughly, and once I'm able to find a fundamentum for you. I can't promise it'll be from an orange. Those are quite rare, and some studiers of the subject don't even believe they exist.
I'm aware. Though I have heard quite a few rumors of oranges. I remain hopeful.
Yes, it would be lovely to think they didn't go extinct. But anyways, as I was saying, when I said you weren't the first person to ask me about followers of Tiamat, I mean,
Yes.
the last one.
Who else has shown interest?
Well, the last person who asked me had this sigil on his tabard. He rummages around in his bag. Fortunately for me, I have a borderline eidetic memory, so I was able to sketch it later.
I see. Let's see it.
He hands over the scrap of paper, and I'm not even going to make you roll for this, Ander. You've studied dragons well enough. That's the sigil of Bahamut.
Ander rubs his chin. So, whoever's looking for the cult of Tiamat is either a very good liar or an enemy to them.
Well, here's the thing. I've spoken with followers of Bahamut before, generally in discussing metallics and their anatomical hypothesizing.
Mm-hmm.
They're generally quite proud of the fact that they follow Bahamut. This one was wearing the symbol like it was something he wanted to hide. I only spotted it because it slipped out of his shirt when he bent over to sit down.
I see. That is very strange behavior.
You have more downtime than I do, so...
I'll look into it. If nothing else, I can have my traveling companions investigate. They intend to go to some form of expensive dinner.
Well, socializing with folks who go there tends to breed opportunities. I understand why you're not going.
Indeed. If I bring too much attention to myself, I may get some trouble on my hands. And I don't know how my party...
You mean more than you're already in?
You know how it is. I just worry about how my companions may react to my history. It may turn messy with some of them. One's a noble, the other, I think, is akin to a noble from a distant land.
Well,
either way...
Distant land means minimal sway.
Indeed. But they're good with their weapons. I prefer not to be on the receiving end of that.
Fair enough. He thinks for a minute. But yes, I'll take this to study, and if I find out anything more regarding the gentleman I spoke to, or anything to that effect, I will be the first to let you know. Do you have a place where I can send you a letter?
I've been staying at the Adventurers Guild lately. That seems to be where my party's based out of.
Well, the guild tends to not look too closely at people's backgrounds before they accept them.
I imagine for most adventurers that's necessary. I'll see about having my stuff, having a mailing address put at the guild.
Fair enough. Well, I'll let you know when I have a fundamentum for you. I'll try and find one that complements your creature.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
He sort of nods and puts the donated organs into his own bag, stands up. Good luck, and I hope this foray into you having an apprentice ends well.
As do I. Ander stands up and he glances at Tess. No, I will not be telling you about the history that I. No, I will not be telling you what the party does not need to know.
Because you figure I'll spell?
I don't mistrust you, Tess, but secrets are better kept when they're kept by one.
Fair enough.
He stands up and he looks at Tess. So, would you like to go get something to eat or anything?
Some food sounds lovely.
Good. Find ourselves someplace to grab ourselves a snack. So he stands up and just kind of takes Tess into the marketplace and looks to see if there are any food vendors.
Yep. Meanwhile, with the rest of the party.
We have arrived.
Yep. I got eaten by my other life obligations, so I did not have an opportunity to assemble a fancy restaurant map.
Oh no!
We will have to theater of the mind this stuff.
It's okay.
Oh no!
It's okay.
All right, so we have all the party members all in their fanciest stuff. So
Vesta is still wearing her druid robes. They've been cleaned.
What does her fancy stuff look like?
She has, well, it's her standard druid robes. The party's seen her in them before when she's not in her armor.
Yeah.
Kimono.
Yep.
But Ed stops before what looks like a completely blank brick wall. Leans over to Vesta and says, you know what your druid order is called? I need to... is Alara with them?
She is. I will say that she has learned enough magic to pass for your average half-elf. That is not mostly
right.
Spooter.
Okay, got it. Alright, good.
Oh, she no longer has to live in the cart anymore.
Alright, I straighten up myself, walk up to what seems to be a random brick, and
The headset picked that up. I hope it gets picked up in the recording because that was amazing.
I heard it.
I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it.
I have...
You know, one secret knock.
Everyone knows that one secret knock because it's not a secret.
If it works, it works.
Yep.
I'm holding my ring to a slightly different random brick.
You see the brick sort of pop out of place, sort of pulled inward, and there's a little pair of eyes like looking out at you. The eyes disappear, the brick sort of slides back into place, and a door, which had been hidden by the bricks, opens up, and you are greeted by a lovely human girl in dressed in clearly working clothes, but still quite nice. Steps to one side. Welcome. How many will the table be for?
Yeah,
One,
2,
three,
3,
four,
4,
five?
5. Yeah, 5.
Okay. I will I will come get you to your table. So
I beckon the rest of the party to the door.
the party is brought to a table and seated. The woman sort of gives a little curtsy. I'll be back in just a moment with your menus.
I'm just gonna roll a perception to see if I can see how old this person is. I failed, didn't I? Because woman.
You're just sitting there going, huh, this is different from anything I'm used to. Like, you are just utterly distracted by the cultural differences.
I at least get to know the tribe when she comes back, right?
Yes.
Is she going to disaster lesbian over the
Pretty waitress.
waitress?
Yes.
It is a strong possibility.
I mean,
Ed looks over at her. Ed looks over at Akiki. Please do not make the wait staff uncomfortable. She had to work very hard to get into this position.
I know.
Vesta's just sitting there, like, looking around, just like, huh.
She may know, but there are boobies in sight.
Vesta kind of looks over at Ed. So, what do we do while we wait?
Well, we can Ed looks for one. I never really thought this far. Usually,
Constitution.
So
usually
is there wine left on the table, or is that she's getting that one as well?
She'll be bringing that with the menu.
Yeah.
Well, we all know what's gonna happen to that wine.
It will disappear into the halfling.
At least Anna doesn't have to be with the bagpipe.
For small things, we are forever grateful. But yeah,
I didn't pack the bagpipe to the venue.
he did not bring the bagpipe, which
bad,
is
too
fair
bad.
because bagpipes are a outdoors instrument. According to
Only if you're a coward.
well, it's an outdoor instrument according to my grandfather, who played one when he was in college.
Ed thinks for a moment. Usually there's two people arguing, one with a crappy map, the other with a forged deed, and we try to alleviate some of their differences, but
We could listen to see what the local topics of gossip are.
yeah.
I would
Alright, I guess we roll.
let me look for what the skill for that would be.
I would guess perception or society or social.
I think probably.
I would say, yeah, society's probably the party's best bet for overhearing gossip.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. Cool.
Okay, we've got a 30, a 13.
Let me roll my society as well. Society.
It should be right under religion.
31.
Oh wait, hold up. I wrote lore. This is society. There we go.
Okay, that's fair. Misrolls happen. I will not fault you for that, especially with a new system.
Quick, everyone, judge him.
Once again, I wish my model had working arms. Anyways, so with all of that, Merrick, Akiki, and Ed
Yeah.
all of you hear a soft conversation from another table. A subtle glance over reveals that they appear to be some of that based on their mode of dress, they are either a member of the Emperor's family or they are a high-ranking member of his house staff. Because there are types of house staff who are basically nobility in their own right, due to the amount of power they wield in the home.
Oh, shediddle. That's
Yadder?
those are people that they should have noticed, like right off the
What's
fucking.
the
Well,
Yadder?
the thing is, they don't. They're not wearing stuff with like big honking coats of arms on it. Like
These are people of great importance.
Like, it's noticed because one of them talks with their hands and they see the signet ring flash for a moment.
These
Do
are
we
still
hear
people of great
what they are
importance.
talking about?
Yeah.
One of
What
them,
do they?
the woman, who appears to be the one wearing the signet ring. If anything, she's most likely the one with the title.
Andor is the most important maid in the country.
Yeah, she seems to be talking about how something will need to be. So, the man she's talking to, he's still dressed quite well, but the coat of arms on him is a small patch that's embroidered on. And you know this is fairly typical of high-ranking male servants like the Chastelaine and the head butler. I am pulling titles I know have something to do with nobility house staff out of my ass. I'm sorry if I get any of it wrong.
It's okay, Dave.
It's okay.
I'm just covering my bases for people in the comments.
Quick, everyone, start judging her.
No.
No.
No. I'm gonna roll a perception to see. I'm gonna roll a perception to see if I can see their ages. 32.
The woman is. They appear to be about the same age, like early to mid 20s. Yeah. The way the two of them are talking, it sounds like in preparation for some kind of grand ceremony the family records are going to be gone through, and as a result, something needs to be removed. Otherwise, there's going to be all sorts of mess.
Sounds like they have something to do with the capital after all.
Yeah, it's just the thing that draws your attention most. I'm going to say that one goes to Ed, is the woman speaking quietly to the man in question, but you can still hear her because she's like right here in comparison to you being right here. You can still hear her quite well. It's like, we have to amend the pedigree records. Do you have any idea what this will do to the line of succession if this gets out?
Ed hears the words line of succession and kind of thinks for a moment and then takes a very concerned lean to the side.
Just like, suddenly just like,
Okay, okay, and then Ed has a semi-horrified look on his face at this point.
Yes, because you know exactly what family this chick belongs to, and what a fuck up in the line of succession for that exact family means.
Akaki just looks at that. What is it? What family is that? And what did they talk about?
Okay. That's House Vernon. That is the line. That is the family derived from Billy the First, who founded the empire with Jed the Great, my ancestor. Founded the empire with Jed the Great, my ancestor. They have controlled this empire for 13 consecutive generations. And the way they have controlled it is by having an heir who has been well prepared for this role, better than any of us electors.
So,
If they basically we choose either the firstborn heir of the current emperor, or one of us when the empire when we need a new
Emperor.
emperor.
Whatever.
Okay,
So-
I mean, I'm sure we'll need a new empire sooner or later.
Emperor.
Akakita looks at. You're telling me they need to amend something that, if it came out, would be very problematic. Well, we need to know that. And she looks right at Merrick and go, Merrick,
Yeah.
you make sure to shadow them.
To be fair, Merrick is the best one for this job.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
So the
is
question is-
thoroughly below line of sight for every other species.
The real
And
question is,
simply put,
how much booze has he had before he goes on this mission?
Ed
Merrick.
also simply says, my family and theirs have been close allies. Like I said, they've also been some of my family's greatest defenders up until like very, very recent.
Just something.
Ed, do you try and listen back into that conversation to get more details?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you keep your role since they haven't changed location. So, according to the woman, who is the one you're getting most of this intel from, because she's, like, right there.
Right here.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
gentleman is, like,
There.
yeah. It's easier to hear the ladies' half of the conversation. Okay, so, look. I know in the realm of humans, well, here, it's not the case of the firstborn son, but the firstborn in general. That's why we need to amend the records, and fast. Yes, I know it's going to be a pain but if we don't amend the papers and it comes out there is somebody before my brother in the birth order that nobody's seen ever, do you have any idea how much of a mess this is going to be?
Does Ed tell what the hell is going on here?
The color has probably left Ed entirely.
Akagi whisper, I'm guessing it's not good.
Ed?
Ed finally looks over at the party and tries to whisper into his ear. That brother was a close friend of mine, albeit after I got my legs. But he's probably been the guy I would vote for if the elections were to be held tomorrow, and I had my.
And you had your title.
Yes.
And the last part is especially quiet.
Ed, Akagi just whispered, Ed, is there something wrong? Is there something that might prevent him?
If there's another kid, suddenly the person that they trained gets off of the list. Someone who is probably not that qualified somebody who's probably not that qualified will come up, and it's pretty much a free for all. And it's
Akaki just looks right at Merrick.
You'll-
Okay, Merrick, you cannot be here. I'm sorry, but you cannot drink. You can drink afterwards.
Because Shadow, it is apparent to you from the look on Ed's face, just how important you successfully shadowing these people is going to be.
Yeah, I'll do my best to not to drink anything yet.
Yeah,
Especially since the lady with never showed up with the menu.
Well,
So.
this has been just a few. This has been like maybe 90 seconds of conversation.
Yeah.
Stealth. That stealth is at 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Not very good, but
hey,
decent roll.
The people you're trying to track don't have class levels.
No.
So
Also,
They're a generic person. They're basically level 1.
yeah, so a 26 they would not be able to pick up on you anyway.
He just fades into the background, which for him is the floor.
He just hops out of his chair, slides under the table.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Akaki hands him a note in, as he does that, Akaki hands him a note in common that says, you stalk them, find out everything you can, hell, even get access to the records if they have to. We need to figure out what the hell is going on here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. If he gets caught breaking into these records, there will be problems. Says Anders' voice of responsibility in their head as they realize that this is what Ander would probably say if he was there.
But yes, if he does get caught, there's going to be some heavy-duty questions getting asked. But
we're not gonna call that questions. That's interrogation.
Yeah.
You're in prison now, motherfucker.
Ed simply has a simple idea. Writes down a fake order from that's basically what he's doing, but it's clearly not from him. It's from a rival. It's from a family who has very much been in vocal opposition ever since that territory was annexed.
So basically, you're trying to fake that he's under orders from somebody who is not a fan of the kingdom in general.
Yes. Not a fan of the king, not a fan of the not necessarily a fan of the Empire, not a fan of my particular family.
Okay, so basically you're framing up somebody else for framing up your family. I love this.
This is gonna end perfectly.
This can only go well.
Thought that it derailed when this came up, but yeah, has the woman
Has the waitress come back? Yes.
And it's
perception again.
Is Merrick still there? Is Merrick still there?
He is. I assume is Merrick still under the table or?
Merrick is. It depends on if they are still there. Since
the two are still there. They discuss very briefly some ways to go about this. They're one of the things that draws Ed's attention is they're discussing burning a birth certificate.
Which means we need to get that birth certificate.
Well, what especially gets that is especially what about that gets his attention is those are only issued after a child has lived after birth for 3 days and 3 nights.
So, okay. Just to clarify, they are the birth certificate they're trying to destroy is the birth certificate of the person that would interfere
with the line of succession.
with the line of succession, and the line of succession is already in a way that we want, right?
This is the person who would be on the throne when the Emperor passes, which looks like it's not for a ways yet. The Emperor's still in pretty good health, but there's always a chance he could fall off his horse and bonk his head or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes emperors retire. Well, most of the time, the emperor retires, announces a retirement. So
yeah.
Anyway,
basically, in the event of deceasement or abdication, yes, the gentleman who has been selected is someone Ed knows well and would be able to. Someone that Ed knows quite well and knows to be a man of good character.
So, to be clear, if they burn this birth certificate, that is in Ed's favor, correct?
Correct. However,
Okay, so them destroying that birth certificate is not a bad thing. We don't necessarily need to steal it.
It's not that.
So it says the voice of Anders' responsibility being the party dad in their head because they know this is what Ander would point out to them.
Yes, they know, but right now, what's pretty important is they need to figure out who would be in favor of this birth certificate getting out.
Basically, they're trying to determine who this certificate of birth is for.
Yeah.
And why somebody'd be trying to destroy it, aside from, well, this fucks up the line of succession.
Secretly, it's test.
That's why Ed's handing Merrick Ed's handing Merrick an order. So that way, if he fucks up, this will cause problems for Ed's potential rival.
This will cause problems for somebody else.
For Merrick.
So, Merrick, if you get caught, don't worry. Your death is going to a good cause of screwing over Ed's political rivals. Congratulations on being an effective political pawn. You're welcome.
No. If Merrick gets caught, we're busting him out.
Oh, 100%.
We will try to bust him out, but like I said, if he gets his capture, will cause things to go. Will cause dominoes to fall in ways that favor Ed's family.
This does not anticipate him getting caught, though.
Yeah, doesn't anticipate him
getting caught. Apparently we anticipate him getting caught, the way Ed's going with.
We're planning... It's one of those hope for the best, plan for the worst situations.
Exactly.
Yeah,
anyways...
My expectations would be immediate execution on the spot for interfering with...
Anyways, so... As the waitress approaches, the couple the party have been shamelessly eavesdropping on. Stand up. The woman leaves a small coin purse with a note on it reading, with a little note pinned to it reading optional gratuity. And the two, after speaking with the person who let them in, they speak very briefly, and the two of them leave.
Does Merrick
Yeah,
follow them?
I quietly slip out after them,
Just
leaving
The waitress approaches and looks around. Oh, did your friend get called away to something important?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's all right. We can, if you guys like, we can have something boxed up for him.
Okay, and now I'm gonna roll perception to see how old she is. 23.
She's 12.
No. Based on the insignia on her vest, on her little waistcoat vest thing, you would say she's like a journeyman or apprentice in the guild that is running this place, which means she's somewhere in her late teens, but not a full-fledged adult yet.
So
She's 12, but a goblin, so that makes her middle-aged.
No, bad rep. Bonk.
She is around Akaki's age.
A little bit younger, you think? She is wearing cosmetics, so it's hard to tell.
Akagi.
She
Meanwhile-
holds out the menus. Here are your menus for the evening. Can I get you guys anything to drink? And does anybody at the table have any religious restrictions or allergies?
Akagi just says. Akagi just look at them and say, "Box up. If you first and foremost, she hands back the menu. Everything on that for me."
I was going to say, you look at some of these and you're like, the only reason I know what some of these are is because I've been in this country for a bit.
Yeah.
The woman blinks a little. Alright. Just doesn't seem too baffled by this.
And she
Seems
then
what the manager says about guild members has about adventurers having big appetites wasn't hyperbole.
I'll have the okay. I'll take the large chicken. I'll take the large chicken and pretzels
Okay.
with a glass of Red Hill beer.
Alright. We should have some. She
think we-
takes everybody's orders and scurries away.
Boy, that chef is gonna earn his master. Is gonna earn his gonna make man. Okay, stupid screen. Okay, yeah, our chef is gonna earn grandmaster at this point.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially given the walking black hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Ve-
but that's kind of how Akagi is.
Vesta kind
All
of
right.
scoots up to take
Take what?
Vesta kind of scoots up at the table to take the spot across from Ed, which Merrick had been sitting at, but he scurried away. Sareed is elsewhere.
She is.
Reed is getting laid right now.
You guys
No.
did find a note where in Sareed's room where you guys had put her, say a note seemingly from her significant other saying, "I've borrowed her for a meet the parents dinner. I'll bring her back as soon as possible."
We all know what's happening after that dinner.
Anyways, Vesta sort of looks at Ed. It might be because I grew up in the woods, but I'm not sure what somebody showing up in the line of succession before somebody who's already been chosen is gonna do, really.
Well, here's the thing. That would be the guy I probably would have I would normally have been voting for is Billy the 14th. He's been a good friend of mine, and he has been chosen for the role. If it's for example, say somebody left to be who was left at a druid's doorstep, who wound up being the firstborn of House Vernon. Suddenly, that person gets deleted from the others, gets thrown out. They get thrown in, and as a result, I'm probably would be the only one voting for this person because, again, my family and House Vernon are real close.
So basically, what you're saying is this people are voting more for the firstborn than for a specific person.
Yeah, it'll go up for like one of. It would go for like one. It'll either go towards either that person or one of the Elector Princes, and yes, who would be more qualified for running an empire.
The Elector Prince.
Yep. And we need to figure out who will gain all this before we do anything with it, and who this person who accidentally turns out to be.
Who this
Royalty
person
is.
is.
Just to make sure that in case this turns out that Billy's family doesn't decide to assassinate them. They didn't choose this.
As far as you know, And as far as you know, his family's never been the type to start throwing around assassinations, but you never know.
Well, we've been close. So if they've been if they've been using assassinations, they've been doing it pretty good under wraps, and they've been doing it in my family's favor.
Basically, if they've been doing assassinations, we don't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know that Ed is gonna be. I do have a feeling Ed is gonna be very, very confused as to why we are doing this, but this is for the sake of the child.
Basically, figure out who the frick this is, and what do we know about her.
Making sure he or she
20 bucks says it's best.
and he or she gets into a position where they can't be elected. That doesn't involve them being put in the ground.
Yeah.
Because while you know your friend's family wouldn't do it, probably be somebody.
Yeah,
Some of my more unscrupulous allies in these some of House Brennan's or unscrupulous allies.
Considering what sort of thing, maybe having his or her getting engaged to someone from my country could be a good idea.
Basically, there's a lot of shenaniganery afoot that might need to be prevented.
Yes, we are basically doing everything to make sure that they can keep Ed's friend in his position without having to resort to what we usually do in Days Pastoria.
Yeah, just
basically the best thing for, like I said, if it turns out that somebody else if this gets out and turns out somebody else is the rightful heir, basically the best thing for my family is for me to get elected.
Basically, there is a lot of faffery afoot.
So what we're trying to do is that we're gonna get this birth certificate. We're gonna
figure out whomst the frick this is.
Yes. And besides, a missing birth certificate works in their favor.
Yeah, in this case, retrieve, and I'll try and use my contacts with this thing. Try and use my favor with this thing to make sure that this thing gets the treatment, that this person gets the treatment they deserve.
Yeah, Akira goes, we don't know who he or she is. And as soon as he says she, you can kind of see a certain pink hue comes across her cheek.
God damn, she can't even talk about women without disaster lesbianing.
It's
just more or less. Yeah.
Why are you the way that? It's definitely a. Why are you the way that you are?
Okay, he can't. It's not really how I meant. It's just things went the way it went with roll.
Mine immediately went to
cursed you. Okay, that's good enough.
Yep.
Sorry, the HDMI got weird.
But it has unweirded itself to a majority.
Okay, I'm
Linux.
But
everything about it is weird.
Anyway, so as the evening progresses quite nicely.
I'm gonna roll a few fortitude saves to see how drunk I can get.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Well, you are eating at the same time, so the DC is going to be a bit lower.
We're making drunkenness a goal here, okay?
Yes.
Okay, you're fine.
Don't you mean con?
Still, well, in Pathfinder, fortitude checks replace con saves.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's the same thing, just in a funny hat. And Ed, you are completely fine. You practically grew up on this shit.
What about Akaki that calls for the stronger stuff, and she is just gonna stop eating a collie for just the stronger stuff.
The
Okay.
goal is to get absolutely wasted, because this is a good decision that she should be making right now.
You guys are so... Ed, you are still perfectly clear and sober. Vesta isn't even having alcohol. This can only go well.
Elara's in there, right?
Yes, she's also not drinking. Apparently she's concerned if she gets drunk, the illusion will go wibbly-wobbly, and then there will be panic.
Fair point.
Because
She is not-
giant goth spider woman!
Yes. Okay, so she gets the stronger stuff, right?
Yes.
And she's just gonna drink it without eating.
Okay.
So you're just really trying to get drunk so you can just lasso lesbian all over that waitress, aren't you?
No. That's not the goal.
That
Not
is...
the goal.
Not at all. You
Oh,
would never,
dear.
ever do such a tragic
Oh,
thing.
dear.
I failed.
And here we go.
Yup. Here we are now.
Completely fucking wasted.
Vesta
this
kinda looks at Ed. I think it might be time we get Akagi home.
Akagi, meanwhile, just looks at...
You're having trouble getting your eyes to focus.
Looks at the
Akagi
party
goes,
waitress.
I think this was a dumb idea. No, I know this was a dumb idea.
Well, you're not the one driving the horse, and you're not the one getting the buggy home, so keep going. Oh, why don't we keep going?
Are you sure
Yeah.
that's a good idea?
Yes, this can only end horribly.
I mean, I haven't finished eating. Let me at least finish eating first.
Yeah.
Okay.
That pile of food ain't gonna.
And she specifically stopped eating and started drinking just to get more drunk.
Okay, so...
Besides, that might be a sign. Besides, if she stops halfway through, that might be a sign that that particular chef ain't cut out to be mastered quite yet. So let's have her keep eating.
Maintain manners. But yeah, Vesta looks at Ed. So, like, even if we find the right even if we get the birth certificate, how are we even gonna know the person still uses the name listed on it? I mean, it's not like foundlings turn up on doorsteps with name tags.
Ed shrugs his shoulder. I don't know. It'll be. Ed shrugs his shoulder and simply says, "I don't know. If it ain't someone we can find, it ain't someone we can find."
So basically, if it's somebody we can't find, it becomes a non-issue.
Yeah, we're just removing it so we know in case someone tries to push it up over, we can at least... Or at least
Basically,
know-
we are mitigating an issue at the pass.
Yes, we're
Ed,
mitigating
and
the
then
issue at
Ed
the past.
simply put, does a double take. Wait a minute. Human society, humans. That's Billy's baby sister. She used to give me tickle wars when I only had this. Oh, she used to. And wait a minute, that's the one who used to give me a wedgies when I didn't even have legs.
I'm not gonna ask how she did that.
He just goes,
You just need underwear.
yeah, no. And also she then looks at Laura with a, it might be just the booze, but you're looking really pretty right now.
Thank you.
It is booze.
Roll again.
Alright, we're gonna roll again and see what happens.
Ed, you're fine. Akagi, no changes.
I'm still drunk.
Yes, you are tipsy enough that your filter's starting to go away, but you're not so drunk it's gone completely.
But drunk enough to be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Let me just close.
yeah, Vesta just looks at it. So the fact that the lady we were listening in on is the little sister of your friend is relevant because
She said she mentioned that in human society. That means she ain't. That sounded like she ain't, which is kind of weird because.
well, the thing is,
Well,
there are
here's
some species out there that do lines of succession differently. And the man she was talking to, I think he might have been part elf or something. So that might have been what she was clarifying.
She's talking like she's a slight outsider to human society, but if I remember correctly, unless I'm mistaken, Bill the 13th married a human woman. Now, and also double weird. We have representatives from a lot of different species. Basically, if you don't hail to a higher power and have a limited lifespan, you are eligible to become an EP. EP if you have the right parentage.
Okay.
So talking like that seems double weird. Not like
Something dark side.
it's either you either married a either pay a species that's either looked especially down upon or one that doesn't pay its taxes.
Oh no. That's his paycheck.
It's like
Doesn't pay taxes.
it's like
Where's the Red Shirt family gonna get their money if they didn't pay the taxes?
Anyway.
Well, you have to remember this started off as a defensive pact. So citizenship is literally defined by do you pay taxes?
Because taxes go to funding the army to fulfill that defensive agreement.
You gotta remember, Anders not actually there, so me smarting off is me
Not
smarting
canon.
off, not yeah.
We don't hear him.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna roll for the whole thing again. You know.
Just once more before. Okay, you are still fine.
The only non-tax-paying sentients that would really qualify are like the Driders. I mean, the Merfolk. We don't really have a Merfolk represent. We don't really have a Merfolk ability yet. We don't have the coastline for it. So,
Yeah, you guys are landlocked, so you having a merfolk representative makes no goddamn sense anyway.
Oh yeah?
well, not landlocked. It's just that our ports are covered in ice. Our ports tend to be covered in ice for chunks of the year.
So the merfolk aren't generally there anyway.
I'm gonna roll again.
Ed takes another shot. That only leaves changelings.
Which flavor?
The ones that are known for their assassins and basically adult
the
servicing.
ones that your kind gets mistaken for, Vesta.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, Vesta kind of thinks for a minute. Okay then. So, distinct possibility. Before any of us lose our filters any further, we should probably finish our food, get a takeaway box for Merrick, and report back to the inn. Meanwhile, Merrick.
Yeah.
Fortunately, these people are so engrossed in discussing their plan, they don't appear to notice your existence.
Ah, nice. So I'm following them.
Power of blending in with the floor, people.
Ed simply nods his head and simply goes, "Yeah, finish up the food, get the to-go boxes, and get to go."
So
So-
I'm following them at a safe distance.
Yes.
Trying to. Yeah.
Fortunately, you are well versed in tracking things from a safe distance. Generally, it's not people, though.
No.
Fortunately for you, you seem to be right. Fortunately for you, you seem to be below the line of sight for these people. So
Yeah.
Takes a moment to look short.
If you notice one of your skill feats,
Time
you
to go.
negate penalties made by non-noisy armor, so I
Yeah.
forgot to change the armor penalty to 0.
Yeah. I know it that I don't have penalty by non-noisy armor, but I don't.
But
I'm
he's not wearing
not-
noisy armor at the moment.
No, I'm not sure that I took armor to the restaurant.
Yeah, you did not wear your combat gear to the restaurant. That is
No.
generally frowned upon.
Yeah, that was my thought as well.
that's-
Depends on the
Penalty.
restaurant.
So that means that if he needs to steal it, it's a 5, not a 4.
Right. So they arrive at an estate. You can only assume it's the one they live at.
Yeah.
The two go in, you able to follow behind before the gates close.
Yeah. So I'm inside the estate. So
You're
I
on its
tailgate them.
you're on its grounds.
Yeah.
The two look at each other. Okay, so we'll deal with the documents in the morning. Okay? Yeah. Archives room before breakfast? You got it. And the two go their separate ways.
So that means that now Barrick knows exactly where he's going.
Well, he knows he needs to get to
I
the
mean,
archives room.
He knows the name of the location.
Yeah.
This is not going to. This does not necessarily mean he's not going to get lost.
So
Yeah.
I know I'm going to go to the archives room, and I know I'm going to look for a birth certificate. What can go wrong?
You know where you need to go. You know what you're looking for. You just don't know where what you're looking for is.
Or where he needs to
Pulls out a
go.
book. It's a casualty report. It's a casualty report of a battle. And Jesus Christ, Ed had a lot of cousins.
Like,
Okay, let me just. I'm gonna see if I can find help here. It would be.
well,
Well,
let me look at the
I-
skills briefly to see which one would best work for this. Do, 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 do. For getting through I'm gonna say, okay, so perception is a skill. So I'm gonna say either perception or you know what? I'm gonna say thievery to figure out where the archives room would be in a building like this.
Take the one with the highest proficiency if you have the.
Yes, if you have proficiency in both, go for whichever one's higher.
I have proficiency in perception, but not in thievery.
Okay, go with
so-
perception. Okay,
good.
that's not bad. That's not bad. Fortunately, the first room you get into is where the house staff gets ready to face the day, and pasted up on the wall with 4 new employees is a floor plan of the house.
Ah, nice.
And one of the
I'm trying
rooms, dead center of the building, has archives, has family records and study stamped right on it.
Do they have some kind of halfling staff?
Uh,
Can I see anything about that?
from From what you can see, it appears their staff are mostly, like, standard-sized humanoids.
Yeah.
There aren't staff uniforms in your size, if that's what you're asking about.
That was trying to pose for staff. That was my idea.
You
but
might be,
children's uniforms.
you do find in the laundry some, like, kids' clothes that might look like a uniform in the dark.
Yeah, I'll try to put them on.
They fit really weird, but you do get them on.
Yeah. So if they fit really weird, then I will look really weird. So then I probably better to
Fortunately,
have my
it's dark. Fortunately, it would appear the lights have been turned off for the evening.
Yeah. So I'll take down the sheet of paper with the floor plan and put it on my person so I can reuse it.
So you're just straight up nicking the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a pinned up map.
Yeah, it was.
Correct.
Yeah, it was. It was tacked up with some little like push pins.
Yeah, but like a map on a piece of paper, not.
Yeah, you've just. It's not painted on the wall. You easily just yoinked it, folded it up, and put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
So away you go through the building. I'm gonna need you to make some more stealth checks. This will determine the soundtrack for your mission.
Stealth checks. Then, since I didn't have the armor penalty, then there will be.
It's either James Bond or Benny Hill.
Yeah, we're getting one or the other.
Hey, now there's also the Mission Impossible Kazoo.
That's just when everything has gone horribly wrong, but you haven't been caught yet.
Exactly.
So the first one is a 19.
Okay, so you do spot a member of the house staff kind of wandering around at night, but the way you need to go is left, and you see her take a right.
Yeah. Yeah, I continue.
So far, not terrible.
Woohoo! Nat 20!
Nat
Okay, so you managed to get to the archives room without further incident. However, you are stymied by one small factor. Door's locked.
No key, yeah.
Oh no. However will our stealth character get past a locked door?
Let's see here. Does he have proficiency with thieves' tools?
I will say you have a set of lockpicks on your person.
Yeah.
And are considered trained in their use.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what kind of stealth character doesn't walk around with thieves' tools on them at all times?
The only character where I've questioned proficiency in thieves' tools is Ava, because she's a scout.
I'll have you know that I know a large number of people in the military who know how to use lockpicks.
Okay, fair enough. So roll let's say you're using your dex modifier in addition to your proficiency bonus to get the lock open.
The proficiency bonus in what?
Consider it the trained rank. I believe that's a +4.
No, trained is +2, plus
4
his
plus
level, plus his dex is basically
the
it's
roll
13
here.
Total.
Okay, so
What did you say?
This probably isn't.
okay, so it's 8 plus your dex mod.
Yeah, so that's 13. My dex mod is 5, so...
Okay, so let's see where this takes us.
It's going to turn. It's going to turn into Vox Machina. Or not.
Okay, fortunately, this door, the lock isn't like...
Screw you, Vox Machina is going to turn into us.
So, you get the door open fairly easily, and you get it open. And
Yep.
you find yourself in your very stereotypical nobleman's study.
Don't forget your keen senses. That's a +2. Sorry if I sound a lot like a Rusoya. It's just this is important.
Yeah, because may God have mercy on your soul if you get caught right now.
Yeah. Uh,
Because the guards
Yeah.
will have a sword on your soul.
I have a +2 to perception checks on finding hidden stuff.
Okay, you may roll.
Yeah, then it's a 15 on that one. 32.
Okay, so you find the cabinet mercifully labeled family records.
Yeah.
And because you're a citizen of the Empire, you know kinda the birth date of the currently chosen successor.
Yeah.
You kinda know it. And you do spot a other birth certificate dated the year prior.
Probably several.
I swiped that one. I put it in my.
Just yoink! Pocket.
Yeah.
As you're
And now,
That's not gonna go horribly wrong in any way when the other people show up to destroy it.
one moment.
Oh boy.
no,
you're
don't tell.
getting ready to leave, you hear somebody go, "Huh, could have sworn I shut this," and the door closes.
Shit.
Oh no.
Closes
Is
and
he
locks.
locked in-
Yes, closes.
Is he locked inside now?
Well, you hear it close. You don't necessarily hear the lock click, so whoever closed it didn't have the key.
So you
This
can.
is the part where you need to bail.
I forgot to close the door. Rookie mistake.
Yes, well, you never stated you shut the door behind you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
I
do
thought
hear
about it, but I didn't state it. So
Yeah, you do hear the person who shut the door wander off mumbling something about ghosts.
yeah. Yeah, I'll wait.
Oh, yes. Highly secure room with very secret information. Must be ghosts drifting around.
Yeah, I'll
No
wait.
one would bust into this.
I'll wait.
I
A few
hear it's
minutes.
an idea. Rolling for lockpicking to lock the door with lockpicks.
I don't know if you can do that.
I mean,
It's
I'm
from
not
the
sure if it's
inside.
possible.
You can probably. It's from the inside. You can probably turn it. You can probably lock it inside. And
Yeah,
then break
and
it
not
away out the
necessarily-
window.
inside.
That's not necessarily how all locks are made, bruh.
And
Cur-
there's also the
but
thing of
currently-
like, how do we get him back out again?
Currently,
Yeah.
He smashes himself out through a window.
Who said there was a window in that room? We're talking about a highly secured room here, bruh.
It's in the center of the building.
Yeah. So I'll wait.
It's a window into the astral plane.
No, we are not yeeting the
guy-
halfling into space.
I'll wait.
The
I'll
guy
wait
for a
for,
shelf fall.
I'm sorry,
guy
Merrick,
for a
you were
shelf-
saying something?
Yeah, I say I'll wait a while until I think the coast is clear,
Clear.
and it's safe, and then I'll try to
Open the door.
open the door and sneak out again.
The door opens, you get out. There's nobody else here in the hallway. I take it this time you close the door behind you?
Yes, I closed the door behind me.
Good.
And,
Ooh.
yeah, I'll try to sneak out. and
Okay.
hope I
Roll an...
I rolled
Oh, boy.
a 32 again.
Okay, you are able to get out.
So far.
You are now out of the building and back on the grounds.
Yeah. I'll try to see if there is some way out of this, or if the
Or can we just Gilligan cut to the rest of the party when
Yes.
with him coming?
While you're rolling to properly flee the premises, meanwhile, so the party has boxed up some takeaway, including some food for Merrick, and you all have successfully returned to the inn and are sort of settling in for the night.
Yeah.
Ander, it is at this point you and Tess return. Akagi looks drunk. Ed looks like he could make diamonds with his sphincter, and the halfling is nowhere to be found.
Ander just pauses and stares at them for a very long moment. Glances around. Did Sarid do something?
Vesta speaks up.
No.
No. Turns out Sarid's boyfriend borrowed her for a meet the parents dinner.
Oh, that's not gonna end horribly.
But anyways, yeah, dinner went well. Ed is sitting there, obviously having some sort of anxiety.
Is there a reason why our
drunk, but she is not. But she is not Sarid. She knows how to keep quiet.
Is there a reason why our local nobleman is hyperventilating? Or is this just an inbreeding issue of some kind?
Oh, no, it's just that the guy who's most qualified for... It's just a situation where the guy who is most qualified to run this empire next, and who is both highly qualified to run this empire, and who is a very strong ally of mine, might not be in the running for the next election.
Oh, politics. Okay.
Yeah,
Apparently there's somebody before him in the line of succession that nobody knows about.
Well, that's probably a bad thing, I imagine.
We sent Merrick to go see if he could find out anything about it. He should be coming back soon.
I see. So, what exactly is Merrick trying to find out?
Apparently in the royal family archives there is a birth certificate issued to someone before the current selected heir, so mucking up the line of succession. He's trying to find that birth certificate, nick it, and bring it back to us.
I see. And how did we find out about this?
We ended up sitting next to some people we ended up sitting next to the people who are planning to destroy the birth certificate at the restaurant. And Ed could overhear them.
Sister. We ended up sitting next to his friend's little sister, and she talked about destroying it.
I also remember...
So, this birth certificate would have been the problem if it had been allowed to exist, correct?
I get where you're going with this, but here is the thing. Here's the thing you need to know, Ander. If it's nicked and something like that, it's not there. It's no longer. They don't have to do anything, and if something happens to it, it's off their hands.
Also, it also might cause problems for people. It also might cause its disappearance might also cause some hidden problems for people who might be hostile to my for people who might be hostile to my family.
Basically, we figured nicking it is a benefit for everybody.
Yeah.
I believe it would have been wiser to cooperate with the people who were intending to destroy it, instead of running off and doing things on your own and potentially making horrible mistakes especially when we send a drunken halfling.
He wasn't drunk. He wasn't drunk. As you show him the box. This is what we left.
I handed him a falsified order to retrieve the birth certificate, only not from me, from someone who would actually make sense to want it.
Oh.
Doesn't like that.
So,
Somebody whose family has been causing
cutthroat
trouble for mine basically someone whose family has been causing trouble for mine ever since his territory got annexed in the Empire.
So, more cutthroat politics. Delightful.
Basically, we'd be throwing an asshole under the bus.
Head shrugs.
So, as if on cue, this is when. Okay, first up, let me go find Ander and drag him back in here.
It should not be very hard to find.
And Merrick, you need to copper over Merrick.
Let me go find his mini and, like, unceremoniously drag him over here. There you are!
I hope you guys could hear the sarcasm dripping from Ander's voice here.
Because
also, if this person... Also, either way, this person probably deserves a bit more respect than they're currently getting.
Yeah, what we're doing is basically making sure that if something happens to the here's out of character. How do I phrase it in such a way that will not cause problems?
You're trying. If you remove it from where it can be accessed via an inquiry, it becomes as if the certificate never existed in the first place. And since the people involved were actively trying to get rid of it, they're not exactly going to cause a big fuss over its sudden disappearance.
Yeah, and I was kind of sort of contemplating if it was somehow related to someone in the party or in the area of the world Akagi has family in.
Possibly. Merrick, you have successfully returned from your grand endeavor.
Yeah, now I really need a drink.
The party, Merrick is dressed in children's clothes, and there's paperwork sticking out of his pockets.
Yeah.
Akagi hands him can I talk? Akagi hands him a wine bottle and says, "Start with this after you hand us the birth certificate."
Nice bottle of Chateau Le Dunk.
Just yay!
I uncork it and pour a large glass of it.
We'll just say the birth certificate is handed to the party.
I managed to retrieve this. I'll give it to the guy with a sword.
The guy with the red shirt.
Yeah, the guy with the red shirt.
The one you're 99% sure might have escaped from a loony bin.
Yeah.
Still.
So I managed to find this one. Was that one you wanted me to look for?
Immediately looking at the date, Ed, you know this is the one you wanted because it's a solid year and a half before your friend was born.
Alright, that's Fierce Spirit, and who is our lucky baby girl?
You do notice that attached to it, you notice that there is something attached to it that Merrick might not have noticed, just grabbing it, checking the date, shoving it in his pockets, and fleeing into the night.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay.
Now, there is one small problem.
Oh boy.
It appears to be written in the Imperial family's secret cipher. Ed, you can break this, but it's going to take you some time.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
House Burden Cipher, of course.
Kagius goes, can anyone of us help?
Well, you gotta parse out 11. You have to parse out 11 tenses, and 11 tenses and phoneme variations.
Ander, looking at this, you go, okay, I understand some people enjoy making codes, but what the hell?
What does Akaki go?
Ander just looks over at Ed's shoulder for a very long moment and says, this is why I don't deal with noble bullshit.
Ed,
It was okay.
let me just look at the skills necessary. I would say it's a society?
Here's the thing.
Alright.
What does,
Let me look at the skills here. Let me look at the skills here. I want to give my...
Akagi, you go.
Akagi, she looks at it and goes,
Remember, you're still a little tipsy.
yeah, she goes, yeah, I'm not doing this while drunk.
Well, she admits it. It takes you us. Now, normally you can break ciphers in just a few minutes. This one, because of its complexity, takes you damn near 15.
Shouldn't have had that third beer.
I love how the immediate defense is, and I shouldn't have had that third one.
So, what does it come up with?
Well, you get most of it translated. It appears to be a note from the, you're guessing, based on the coat of arms involved here, the note appears to have been from the, the crest involved. The note appears to be from the midwife involved.
Okay, what does the note say?
It reads very simply, Dear Your Highness. Now, though it's written a little more elaborately than that, Ed, you can tell based on how it's spelled, this is to refer to the Emperor's wife.
Okay.
I have done as you ask. While I do not ascribe to the same superstitions as yourself, if you truly believe the child is as you claim, then giving them to those who know how best to deal with that would be truly for the best.
Does it make any mention of those who would know how to deal with that?
It does
say in order...
mention, oddly enough, whoever this is, whoever the child they're referring to in the note is, they are referred. The exact word used for them isn't one you've seen in a very long time. Roll a. Why is the history skill gone? Roll a lore for me, and Ander, roll an Arcana.
I'm just gonna roll for the heck of
here.
it. I have historic lore, which is basically my way of doing the history skill. I have a 14 in that.
Okay. Everybody who has a relevant skill, please roll.
I don't think I got that.
You're familiar with the lore of your homeland, and you're a few sheets to the wind.
Yeah, I don't know that. I look at that word, I don't really know it.
God damn it.
the slash goes before the R.
Yeah, I recognize that issue. There we go.
Okay.
24.
I'm giving you this one, Ander, because part of your studies was exactly this.
Mm-hmm.
That precise word right there is used for the children of hags.
Ender pauses.
Which are usually swapped out with a mundane infant. The only way thought to tell is if the child is born with with mismatched eye colors.
Ed, are you familiar with that word? Because that implies that the child was the offspring of a hag, a changeling.
Now, Ander, because your specialized field of study was the Fae, you do know quite a bit about changelings. Their exact morphology and behavior patterns vary a lot depending on the hag in question, but they all have one thing in common. They either completely disappear off the face of the earth, or start complaining of hearing voices the day they turn 13.
All right.
The ones that if a changeling grows up in a human household, in the household of the family,
family.
They can appear in any race, if you recall your research correctly. But if they are in the family they are swapped for, and certain measures aren't taken, they can get very disturbed and very violent.
Okay. So Ander looks to Ed and asks, "Do you know who they might send this child to deal with fae creatures and hags?"
Ed, that would be a lore thing. That would be either a lore or an arcana, because this isn't something talked about very much.
Without doing a further check across from the top of my head, Fae is real check, and the closest Fae is the outgrowth of the nature, and the closest thing to that would be druids, I think. Let me see here. Arcana is 2.
Well, you also have
your lore.
You have lore.
You have lore.
Oh yeah,
that was the first one she gave you, you dummy.
Oh, okay, got it.
I said or.
Don't make me drive down to Texas. I will.
Okay,
I'm gonna kidnap you, take you out to the woods. We're gonna have some fun.
Okay, with a 20, you think about it, and you think about it, and you think about it, and then you remember. There is a druid enclave on the other side of the city, and a few days trip. If they would have taken this child anywhere, that is where they would have taken her.
So we have our After the Dragon.
Yep.
But first and foremost,
deal with hag child.
Granted, Ander, based on the way this was, on the date of this certificate of birth and of this note, the child will have either probably disappeared or is some flavor of batshit insane.
Fair.
Because the hag changed, because the changes start occurring after the child turns 13, and that was quite a few years ago now.
Okay.
Does Ander share this information with the class?
Yeah. Ander does speak up. Judging by the age on this paper, this person is likely has either been taken to the Feywild or has gone insane.
What makes you say that?
It's common with most hag children. The call of their mother begins at the age of 13 and only grows stronger unless they find some way to change their own nature. They either give in to the call and go to their mother, who is either in the Feywild or lurking in some dark, horrible corner of the world, or they go mad with it. The metamorphosis into a hag may occur even without going to their mother, though, which I'm sure you can imagine would have interesting results given the madness.
Yeah, nobody's actually documented a changeling's transformation, namely because you heavily suspect the people who see that metamorphosis do not live to tell.
Yeah.
No.
Hence why Anders not giving details on that, because he doesn't fucking know that shit. There's a limit even to his knowledge.
It's known that changelings can become hags because hags have been witnessed with identifying markings with markings identical to those taken on by a changeling, namely scarring or a tattoo.
Yeah.
How exactly this metamorphosis occurs, nobody knows, and some folks are kind of scared to ask at this point.
Yeah, but
It's not exactly safe information, no.
Just to be on the safe side, Aki's gonna. This is just This is me going. This is just to be on the safe side, and make sure that Vesta wasn't lied to with the type of changing she was.
Oh, yeah. Ander is going to look to Vesta and ask her how old she is.
Well, here's the thing. I was found on the Enclave's doorstep, and nobody really knows when my birthday was. I will say this. I do know that I was given a new name after I reached I do know I was given a new name when I started as an apprentice at about 10.
What was your name before that?
God, it was so long ago now. I was almost never called it, though.
Vesta. Aki goes, Vesta, how many years has it been since you started training?
Let's see, I started training when I was like 10. Now, Ander, you do realize, after a moment, you think, that would be a loophole, because the name of someone given at birth is considered their name, but if the person doesn't know that is their name, the calling using that name might not be as strong. It's been a long time now, let's see, I'm in my early 20s now, so solid 10 years?
We look right at the birth certificate.
There's a timeline. Does the age and timeline match?
The timeline does look like it matches fairly well, but there is the issue that Vesta does not appear to remember her birth name.
Okay.
Okay, Vesta. What druid enclave are you from?
Well, once I started training really seriously at 13 or 14, I got moved to the one near where we met. Apparently that place was more specialized in the style of druidcraft I wanted to know.
Okay. And in what enclave were you before then?
The one I grew up in. I don't ever remember going outside it, aside from when I moved to another enclave.
Did we basically travel a similar path between those two did we basically did we base? But yeah, is there anything?
The others are concerned that you may be the child on this being documented in this birth certificate.
She
Yeah,
thinks
we're starting to get the idea that you may be looks at the stupidly looks at the birth name.
just stupidly looks at it. As you look at it, it dawns on you, if the calling uses the birth name, it might be a good idea for her to not know that.
Yeah.
You might be this missing Miss Burden.
Ed is sober enough to realize that might be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, Akaki might be drunk, but
the
I did.
idea that I might be... That does explain some things. Andrew, could we discuss something upstairs?
Ander nods. Lead the way.
Akaki just goes, is it just you two or can anyone else join?
Well,
She requested a private discussion.
I get that. What
fair,
I meant
fair.
was,
I understand. You wanted to clarify. If Ander here has proclaimed himself to be a specialist in the Fae, if his examination confirms the suspicions, then that information is more than welcome to be shared.
and if it denies the suspicion, no harm, no foul. So this is Akiko, so you're basically doing a medical checkup.
Yes,
Then we have nothing to do with it.
correct. Ander? So
Ander stands
I'm
up.
going to
Anders.
move the group over to this map over here. Give it a
Don't
moment
forget
to
Merrick.
focus.
Don't forget Merrick.
This is so we can determine where Ander and Vesta are doing this exam. The rest of the party, I will bring Merrick, like, you know what? I'll
The
put
rest of the
him.
party is downstairs doing party things.
I'll put him right there because this is the map I use for when the party's on, like, the bedroom floor of an inn. So it would be good to just have him there anyway.
This is just. Meanwhile, Akagi is just going to. Yeah, she is drunk, feeling a little bit, and she has talked with Alara a bit.
Yeah, we can.
I can DM you what I'm going to ask for.
Fair enough. So Vesta looks to Ander once the two are alone. So, you're suspecting I'm some sort of hag child?
That is the most common form of Fae. Yes.
Regardless of what this examination confirms, I need you to keep what you see between the two of us until we know what it is for certain.
Ander nods. I will not. I don't disclose information easily. You're aware of that.
Yes. Hell. Even if sometimes you burn things rather than let others know about them.
Everyone has a history. Mine is
One
messy.
you'd rather keep to yourself. Fair enough. She turns around and you see her sort of fussing around with something at her neckline, and she is undressing, but there is every ounce medical exam time air to any of it. Just thump.
Yeah.
Alright, now Just need to do one more thing. This is going to be difficult. And you see around her, there's this slight sort of shimmer, almost like a heat haze.
Okay.
And what you realize is an illusion around her body fades away. And let me just look at... So, as you look at her, as the shimmer to the air kind of fades, you definitely see that something weird is afoot with this woman.
Okay.
And her body is covered in slightly raised off of her skin. You swear they almost look like vines, and they are wrapping around her arms, her shoulders, her chest. They actually seem to be centered from her heart, and they are all over her body.
So, green veins look like they're growing vines, basically.
They look like they are vines, and a closer inspection reveals a aesthetic texture similar to, if not identical to, some species of small vining plant like ivy, just without the leaves. The only place they don't seem to go is up to her face.
And Anders' expression is one of a combination of scientific interest and clinical focus.
Namely, okay, what am I looking at?
She is something unique.
Yes, I will say this. You have read papers regarding examinations of hag children in the past. However, these were all hag children that were under the age of 13. And Vesta, if she is to be believed, is somewhere in her early 20s.
Okay. Ander looks her over. Do you mind if I touch you?
You may touch the vines.
So, Ander reaches out, runs fingers along the length of some of her vines.
They feel like vines as well.
Okay. Should I roll Arcana?
Go right ahead.
Okay. So, that is... God damn it, Discord.
Okay,
28.
so you recognize these, but they raise more questions than answers.
Okay. So what do I recognize them as?
Normally where you see traits like this, the vines growing out of the body, specifically from where you assume the heart is, you usually see... Where that's usually seen, according to your research, is in the scions of scions of dryads or other spirits tied to the green growing things of the forest, not hag children.
Okay.
But
Ander...
looking at her in her sort of, you assume this to be her true form. She does have the odd eyes. She does have the mismatched eyes, typical of a hag child. So something is weird here.
Ander nods a bit as he looks her over. Have you been hearing voices? I imagine starting when you were younger, shortly after
Often,
you started training.
off and on, like this weird dream of a woman saying a name, but it wasn't mine, so it was just weird.
I see.
I
I believe
remember
you
my
trained.
I remember my teacher telling me that I needed to let her know immediately if I started sleepwalking or something like that.
I can understand why. It would seem that your changing of your name has given you a degree of resistance to your birth mother's effect. She can't call out to you because she doesn't have the right proper name to call.
So because she's using the name she knows, but it's not the name I remember, it's not working?
Correct. But it's more than that. Hags are narrative beings. The Feywild is a reflection of the material world, but not just what is physically existent, but the stories that are told. This is where
Right.
Jabberwocks and the like come from. Jabberwocks are creatures formed from stories of dragons. Hags are formed from stories of evil witches lurking in the woods to kidnap children.
Right. I mean, almost every culture has a story like that, according to my teachers at least.
Many cultures do, yes. I think that on some level, you are shifting your narrative position. Ha- I do believe that while normally I would not advise a person to try and emulate a trope from a story, it may be in your best interest to do so yourself. Find some aspect of story that speaks to you and mimic it. The more you embody such things, the more distant you will grow from your mother, and the more you will, for lack of a better word, write your own identity.
So now this doesn't explain the vines. These were quite a recent development actually.
I imagine you're starting to reach a point where you're going to where your body is attempting to become the hag that you would normally develop into. However, your druidry is interfering with it. You're not exposed to your mother, and you are not behaving in a manner that would fit where your mother would fit in the narrative. Thus, between that and your druidic magic, you're starting to develop in ways that are undocumented. You may
So
become
I am something unusual.
something entirely new. You may end up becoming a new type of hag entirely, or perhaps even an entirely new type of fey creature.
Hmm. She seems to think for a minute and then she smiles and starts just has a little bit of a laugh. So, this isn't some sort of symptom of some horrible nature inflicted illness where I'm going to die horribly. Trust me, that was a worry I had.
No, you're not going to die horribly, but how you develop, I cannot predict. If you wouldn't mind, I would like to keep an eye on this.
Of course,
If
of
nothing,
course. Much like how you wish to
and
document the development of your young apprentice.
indeed, and to help maintain your health and help you develop into something that won't be harmful to you.
Mm.
Keep in mind that a hag's development will almost always include massive personality changes. you developing to something new like this may have unpredictable effects. That's why I advise you take a proactive role in defining it.
Mm.
If you don't take control of it, it may take control of you.
And that's not something and that's not something you want. That's
It's
not
not
something...
something you may want.
Fair enough.
I don't think you're going. I don't think, given what I know of you, I don't think you're going to end up becoming an evil monster like most hag children do. But where you do end up going, I can't say.
Fair enough. Well, she starts to dress. I will admit, I have always been partial to the stories that talk about the more benevolent creatures of the woodland.
Then follow those. Become what you wish to become. And please, if you do find yourself having some other serious changes to your mood, your personality, or your body, let me know.
I
This
will.
is something that we'll need to keep track of.
Yes.
If you don't mind, I would like to also document this.
Fair enough. You were saying?
Out of character question, did you see what I wrote
Yes, I
there?
did.
What I need to roll?
Yep, just let me get back to the skills section. Okay. So, but yeah, she sort of smiles a little. That is a relief. How is Tess doing? You seem to be the only one she talks to about any changes with what she is.
Her scales are spreading. Her body is developing further. I'm not sure what's going to be happening to her.
Well,
I have not discussed with her what is happening yet. But the colleague we went to see did notice it as well.
you went to see a colleague of yours?
Yes, I don't have the facilities to research the materials that I removed from the dragon, so I've passed it off to a colleague. We will be trading he will be trading the materials I gave him for materials that I would find useful.
Fair enough. He tell you anything else we might need to know? This is said as she's dressing again. And you do notice, Ander, that underneath some of the vines, because they are capable of moving, you do see her traditional druid markings, and the vines seem to be following them.
Okay. Anders says yeah. Anders says, I've asked about the cult of Tiamat, and he says that I'm not the only one who did so. There's been an individual bearing a mark of Bahamut doing so as well.
I mean,
Strangely though, this person is keeping that mark hidden. I'm going to suggest to the rest of the party that we keep an eye out for anything involving Tiamat or Bahamut.
I mean, wasn't the goal of the group that made her to create an oracle to that god?
To Tiamat, yes. I don't think they were trying to contact Bahamut. A follower of Bahamut wouldn't exactly do something like what happened to Tess. It would anger the god.
And from what little I know of established religions, Bahamut is not one you anger knowingly.
It's generally unwise to anger a dragon god Bahamut, who often embodies warriors, more so than others. The only one I would say would be a poorer choice would be Tiamat, just because she is actively evil.
Right. Has Tess attempted to use any sort of oracular abilities, or has that not come up yet?
Not recently, no. Or at least not that I'm aware of. I think she's trying to avoid doing so. I don't blame her.
Right. Anyways, that information about that agent of Bahamut is probably something we should share with the others. Depending on how recent this was, odds are they might still be in the city.
That is likely. While Ed is busy dealing with politics, I think it would be better for the rest of the party to focus on, well, something more relevant. Our issue with Bahamut would certainly be of importance.
Right. If I recall correctly, I think there's an All Faiths shrine, All Faiths temple in most large cities. There might be a priest of Bahamut in residence.
Yes, we'll have to investigate that tomorrow.
Right. Downstairs with everyone else.
Yeah, Akagi asks the question, so, Doc, what did you find out?
Vesta finishes lacing her shirt's neckline. Well, while I am tied to a hag in some way, it would appear the Enclave giving me a different name as soon as they could has vastly weakened her grip on me.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Detect Magic and look if...
And
I
look
think it
in
might be-
Vesta's general direction.
Yeah,
Well, she is a magical creature, so I imagine she would
Ed
just pick
taps
up on
into-
that in general.
it's
Well,
not
taps
Detect Magic has to be
into-
actively cast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you cast it, you look in Vesta's direction, and... Okay, 1, magical entity. 2, caster of magic. That means, holy shit, your eyeballs hurt. Because that is a lot of magic in one spot right there.
Yeah, but I
Ed
can
stands
believe,
up.
but here is
Ed-
the flavor I found. You can see through illusions, alert the schools of the strongest magic they detect. Also, you can ignore the magic that you already know is there.
So yeah, you detect a lot of druidic magic because she's a nature spirit and a druid.
Yeah, so you do notice that since this allows you to see through illusions, her eyes are 2 different colors when normally they are 1 color.
And if I follow her druidic markings,
You do notice that while before she was dressing to display them, now she is wearing longer sleeves to cover them.
okay, so I'm guessing you found out something. Okay, Akagi is bright. She also knows enough about stuff, and she can get a quite quick read of the room.
You are.
Even if
May I
there's-
remind you, you are also drunk.
Yes, I am drunk, but which is why she's just going to say, I get an idea, but with my filter, I'm not gonna say it now.
Yeah, just I ain't saying shit.
I know.
However, it appears we have a slightly more pressing issue than my potential heritage. Ander?
Due to her druidic magic and her difference in the fact that she is not being guided or altered by her birth mother, she appears to be developing differently from what would normally occur for a hag child. I cannot predict exactly what will come of this, but she appears to be developing into a completely new type of fey creature. Or at the very least, a new type of hag. I will warn all of you now. Development development of hag children often includes alterations to their personality.
We
And
get it.
generally, it's not for the better. But that's when the hag
Like
mother's
Diego.
influence is present. Without it, who knows?
Yeah,
Ed
Diego,
raises his
I
hand.
did meet a hag on our way down from. We did.
Ed is raising his hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick question. One of my brothers, one of my brothers has dedicated a lot of his life to making prosthetic limbs to those who are disabled. After watching my early childhood, during his service during the Dolphin Civil War, he met Vesta, and apparently it was love at first sight. But the slight complication is that the face that she wore looked an awful lot like my cousin Ava. And
Basically, there was an accidental incest panic.
So we've been trying to get them back into. We've been trying to get them back in touch for.
To clarify the.
Do you think that's?
To clarify the
yeah.
confusion.
This is not
think
Eva.
that
This is not This is not our cousin. This is someone else.
Yeah. Do
This
you think it
person
would be a good
isn't
idea to-
even a human being.
aside from some red shirt perk intercompatibility, do you think it would be a good idea to for my brother to pursue for my brother and Vesta to pursue a relationship?
Now, Ander, here's the thing. Romantic relationships among changelings is not something well known, is not something with a lot of study behind it, because again, changelings either disappear or go stark raving crazy before they reach an age where they would be pursuing romantic relationships.
In my studies, we have very few documents of changelings having healthy relationships, usually due to the fact that changelings tend to go insane.
My brother's a side.
Ava is Vesta. Vesta is a complete anomaly. Unknown. I don't know what could happen. I don't know what will happen. I've given her advice on how best to try and manage the changes that she's going through.
Ed shrugs. My brother is a scientific mind at heart, and we've lost kinsmen pursuing lesser knowledge.
Basically, my family's done stupider. Anyways, Merrick, the more you listen to these people, the more you're pretty sure most of them are escapees from some kind of loony bin.
Currently, I don't do that much of listening since I've been downing this bottle of wine.
Yes, you've been chugging.
So I'm.
They are saying things, but you don't care.
Words are occurring, but why would you care when there's booze?
He's saying that he needs to go because of a scheduled meeting.
I need to drop out for a while.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I'll check if you are still running after my meeting, but it will probably be up to half an hour.
That's okay. Don't worry about it too much.
Yeah. See you later. If not today, so next time.
If not today, then next time.
Yeah.
Lycka till på mötet, pappa.
Thanks.
Yeah, you basically told him to good luck at his meeting in Swedish if anybody wants to know.
Fair enough. But yeah, I will say this, Ander. During a period of intense arcane flux, having some kind of stabilizing influence, regardless of its origins, would be useful.
Yeah. So,
my changes aside, Ander, wasn't there something else important you wanted to bring up to the party?
Indeed. I met with a colleague earlier today. And
do
we
so.
discussed with him detail, and I discussed with him information regarding the cult of Tiamat to see if he had any information, to see if he knew anything of it. Currently, we are not the only person who's been asking around for this information. A member of the cult of Bahamut has also been investigating the Tiamats.
So we need to be on the down low with investigations.
Well, here's the thing.
Potentially.
Bahamut is generally thought of as a very benevolent god, so
Not that, but with too many asking around.
things could get
The
dodgy.
cult- Yeah,
Yeah. A
Ed
cornered
simply
rat
leans forward.
doesn't-
Was
it's
there?
Not that a cornered... Okay, goes. It's not that a cornered rat doesn't fight. It's that when a rat is cornered, it's when they fight their hardest. If we are too open with this, the cult of Tiamat might panic, and Tess might be declared a loose end.
Fortunately, Test speaks up, I don't think they know where I am right now.
That's
the cult
something-
the cult of Tiamat may not even know that she exists at the present time.
Because I haven't tried at all to use any of my oracular capabilities, if I even have them.
That's one thing that works in our favor. But yeah, we're gonna have to do this.
Discreetly.
Yes, we're gonna have to do this ninja style.
We will be
Police do not-
we will be intelligent about our investigation. Yes.
And she looks at Edwita. No, ninja style doesn't mean jumping around on the rooftops or using magic with the specific hand signs.
Oh, you mean like in Miles Backwards picture books?
Yes, that's not how ninjas work. In fact, even if ninjas had magic, ninjas doesn't really work by magic themselves. Normally, if they have magic, that's generally because they
Deliberately
that-
trained themselves for it. Basically, it's one of those,
If I recall,
not all of them use magic, but the ones that do use it very subtly.
and if I recall correctly, most ninjas utilize a style of magic known as ki.
not
You've
really
seen
key,
it in certain types of martial artists.
It's more martial artists. What I'm talking
Why are
about
martial
is
artists so?
uh,
Why is this martial artist so interested in doors?
Vesta just looks at Ander and Akagi with an expression of, forgive him, he knows not what he does.
I will try not to discuss it too much with you. With you, Ed, I know that nobles tend to have difficulty with complex subjects.
Akagi goes,
Well, no, we're paid to do we're paid to do ballroom backstabbing, and mine's paid to do mine's paid to do the defense of the entire empire.
Akagi looks at that with a no. Look, the thing that they mostly use is something called perceptive manipulation. They're basically something called illusionists.
Sleight of hand
Magic.
work.
Exactly, it's magic without magic.
Sleight of hand stuff. Like how, for example, it's using the same styles of thought and movement as to how a pickpocket could get a purse out of somebody's pocket without them knowing about it.
Exactly.
They're con men.
Mm, con men that specializes in assassination, infiltration, and information gathering.
Ander knows exactly what he means with fake magic. They're con men.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
So-
we should
Right,
probably get some rest and then figure out what we're doing in the morning. We have a lot to look into, and I don't know if we have a lot of time.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, I need to make sure Tess has further security, and it's not that I don't like you. I'm doing
Tess
this because
speaks up. I think I'm more than able to take care of myself, Miss Akagi. Thank you for the gesture, but I can fend for myself, thank you.
it's
Henry
not
speaks up.
that.
If I have to deal with any issues, I'm fairly certain that Grimgar will make our location quite well known.
Why am I imagining Grimgarl just inhaling a lawyer?
And
Yeah.
this is okay.
Yeah.
We're getting some. I'm getting some sending. I'll get a pair of sending stones so that you and Fred can talk and talk.
And figure things out.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Akagi then goes. I'm gonna. But what I'm talking more is. It's not extra protection or anything. It's adoption.
Tess just kind of shakes her head. I've already done that once, and I got this to thank for it. Pulls down her sleeve, and Akagi, you notice that scale patch on her forearm is much larger than it was the last time you looked at it.
Akagi looks at it. Okay, adoption's out the window. She is not.
She's already starting an apprenticeship. She's effectively an adult now.
Okay,
Only
it's
difference
just-
is I can't drink and I can't get married. Not that I'm interested in either.
Good point.
Ender pats Tess's head. When you're old enough, I'll show you what good alcohol tastes like.
Are you
And-
sure you
and
want
simply
somebody
goes
with
on the-
Are you sure you want somebody with magic tied to their force of will getting any flavor of inebriated?
You've never been to a mage's college.
I have a bad
simply-
feeling about that.
Akagi just
And-
basically gives a sort of look of. Give basically gestures to Tess. It's okay to say no.
Anyways,
Ed gives two
Ed,
thumbs up and says, "Well, on the bright side, you look like you slaughtered a bunch of dragons already, so that's cool."
Speaking of Tess, if you wouldn't mind, I do think I would like to do another examination of you. It would seem that your magic is developing more rapidly than I would have anticipated.
Well, I have been physically present for a dragon getting killed, and I slept in its lair. It'd be weird if it wasn't doing anything.
Indeed, it would still behoove us to keep track of it.
Fair enough. Besides, she chuckles a little. Once I reach adulthood, you can turn my creator's notes paired with your own and get some kind of research paper out of it.
Potentially. Not that your creator had much value in his notes as is. The fool was a madman.
I could have told you that.
I mean,
The crimes of Old
considering
Man
what
Clampett
he-
are
considering that he
well
tried
known.
to feed, considering that he essentially tried to feed you magic from full magic from 5 dragons. Aki goes, considering that I understand you not wanting any sort of adoption or stuff like that. You already been through that
Also,
and you got burned.
Also, an adoption paper being filed here creates a paper trail of where I am, how old I am, what I look like, and who I'm traveling with.
So adoption is but Tess, let me just say. Family. Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
all the family I need, and she taps the side of her head.
Akagi just chuckles.
This is probably the first Akagi's heard of entities being in Tess's head.
Yeah, then she just goes,
Wait, what?
wait. What? And she looks,
Ander-
Tess looks at Ander. If you need me, I'm going to go to bed now. Meow.
Akagi is fueled on the drunkenness. She heard that. And considering that she basically considered Tess something like her daughter.
Just The only thing stopping you from grabbing this kid by the scruff of her collar is the fact that your reflexes are dulled by the amount of alcohol you've had this evening.
She then
Anders
looks right at Ander with, "What did she just say?"
Ed is walking to
Andrew
the...
stands up. I would have assumed that she had already trusted you with that information. he stands up. If she wishes to keep it a secret, then so shall I.
Okay. Okay.
And meanwhile, you are probably
has empathy.
considering beer number 4.
Yeah, she basically just heard. Oh, fair. It's Tessa's choice. Just to let you know, if those entities comes back to bite her, it's on your ass.
More on the ass of her creator, but...
Andrew thinks for a moment. I'm pretty sure those entities will get to me before you do.
Fair point.
considering they seem to be paying rent in Tess.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair point. It's just fair point.
But yeah, so we can move along with the plot. Ander, I would like you to make either an Arcana or a Medicine check, whichever you have greater proficiency in, for the summation
Roger.
of that exam.
Yeah, and
Roger.
out of
Yeah,
character,
that's gonna be an Arcana check by a wide margin.
I'm gonna put something in our Discord in the group chat or something we have for this. To what I'm
That is
gonna do
a
now.
32. So
Okay.
yeah, that's a big number.
That is a nice, crunchy, big number. Big, happy number.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do notice that, let me just look at her sheet really quick and see what I've done here. Hmm. It does appear that, yes. Now, you didn't actually get the distinct opportunity when you first met Tess to do a detailed physical exam. The one you did was mostly cursory.
Okay.
When you are examining her more closely, you do notice something that is both deeply interesting and deeply concerning.
Okay.
It would appear that she is developing a very crude, very sort of rudimentary, very weak version of a red's fire breathing mechanism in the back of her throat.
Ah,
Oh,
Ooh.
Your
Maybe-
best bet she couldn't do any, like, mechanical damage with it, but...
She can probably spit some sparks.
she's supposed to get access
a
to
bit
breath
more
weapon.
than a bit more than that, actually, looking at the spell that surmises this ability. When you ask her if she can use it, she's actually able to generate a ball of fire about the size of your fist.
Okay.
Test those fireball.
Well, technically
Wow.
it's the produce flame cantrip souped up, because heightened spells is a thing.
Yeah. So, she's a fire breather.
Yes, it would appear that her heritage is leaning more towards the red.
At least for now.
She may have received
imagine-
she may have received a larger amount of that dragon's components.
Yeah, I imagine I imagine it may shift if she starts using different forms of magic.
Yes, but currently, it requires her having her
Yeah,
mouth
currently it is
open
red.
quite a ways, and you have to have like a little produce light cantrip aimed down her throat to see the mechanism. But this does look very much like the mechanisms that allow reds to breathe fire. Not the fundamentum, but the mechanism that transmutes the energy of the fundamentum into fire.
Okay.
In order to... You are... Aside from that, she,
Susan, what are you looking at?
Oh, I'm just looking at the sheet I've made for her to test, to look at everything, everything I have written down, so I can accurately translate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does appear that her bloodline is advancing.
Okay. So, are we RPing this moment, or are we just kind of...
I'm just running
Going
through
through.
it so we can...
Okay. So, yeah, this is slightly ominous.
Yeah, basically her... Now, you've heard of sorcerers with dragons, with draconic bloodlines, and there's stuff kinda like this, but you've never actually heard of something with this... You've actually never encountered one with this complex an anatomical change.
Yeah, this is a...
Concern.
Yeah, this is a much more in-depth transformation than what would normally occur in a
Dragon-blooded sorcerer.
dragon-blooded sorcerer, yeah.
Once the exam is complete, Tess kind of looks at you. Why do you look worried?
Your changes are much more intense than what I would expect from most dragon-blooded sorcerers.
Oh?
Yes. Normally, patches of scales, and when they push themselves very hard, they could force themselves to sprout wings, but this is a complex change that you have in your throat. Dragons, there are numerous parts of a dragon's physiology that protects it from its own breath and channels its breath in a certain direction. A lot goes into a proper breath attack. What you have here is all of it, and that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
Ever.
There are certain organs necessary for a dragon to produce its elemental weapon, but you can't tell if she has those via a standard medical exam, and you are, given your supplies at hand, you are reluctant to conduct anything more in-depth.
Yeah, if we're going to start looking for a fundamentum in her, that's going to require surgery, because that connects to the stomach and lungs.
That is going to require opening her up.
Yeah, we're going to try to avoid doing that.
Can surgery treat it the same as an autopsy with investigation? Because then Akagi has a bonus.
We
are not doing surgery. Jesus Christ.
We don't have the materials or the sterile setting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
Part of
that.
the,
It's just that just in
part of the
case
medical
we have to.
science.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
good-
we're not doing surgery to doing a fucking autopsy on a live 14-year-old
Individual.
girl to find out how she's spitting napalm. Okay, we're just going to
So,
accept the fact that she can spit napalm.
yeah, look, can I at least confirm it? It's just in case it ever comes to that, but
If a
considering,
person with medical skill is unavailable.
yes, if push comes to shove, we if we find ourselves in that
Sound stopped
situation
on my
in that
end. What's going on? Sound appears to be fine on my end, Dragon Rider. I have no idea what's going on yours, because the sound on our end seems to be just fine.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's just I'm just essentially I'm
We-
basically being what Dad calls
We are...
a issue-based teddy bear. There exists a reason for that.
You are trying to figure out the solutions to the problem.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm just spitballing out
Ideas.
this is the player spitballing ideas, not the character. Akagi isn't in the room. He
Right.
gives
yeah.
So basically,
Yeah.
what you're saying is, I have the reason I can cast certain fire spells out of my mouth is because I've developed a fire breathing mechanism.
Indeed. Until you develop a proper breath weapon, I would assume that you don't have a fundamentum yet. Please make sure you tell me of any changes to your magic or physiology. Two completely unprecedented scientific discoveries in one party.
If you weren't yoked from the Arcane Academy, you would have a thesis paper right here. Two of them.
Ander is probably developing a fucking this universe's equivalent of a Nobel Prize.
In what
Twice.
in what
Twice.
medicine. You're developing a
In his
Nobel
party.
Medicine Prize.
Yes, just
Yeah. or I don't even know if it can be classified as medicine given the magic component, given the how this doesn't really apply to any medical profession. But yeah.
you are figuring it out.
Yeah. So this is an issue.
Yes, especially
Oh.
since both of these entities you don't know how they're going to develop.
Yeah, we could be looking at Tess turning into a half dragon or something.
Honestly,
Yes.
Ander, you would not be surprised if she was somewhere on that side of the spectrum already.
Yeah.
Given
she's
that she has
basically-
developed a rudimentary breath weapon. You don't know if it's a full one because you can't tell if she's developed a fundamentum or not.
As
Yeah.
a character, she's becoming a dragonborn.
To
No,
some
out of
degree.
character, she's developing into a half dragon. That is more significant than just a dragonborn.
There is a
So
difference.
wait,
And worrying
It-
at
so
that.
wait, is a half dragon what
It
happens when the bard seduces the dragon?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
to explain this, a dragonborn is its own type of dragon. All right.
Ah,
Depending on your setting, there's different origins for how dragonborn come to be, but they're a lesser dragon in and of themselves. Half dragons are insert thing here, boinking a dragon.
so technically speaking, if we go by a office setting, Artoria and Morgana are both half dragons.
Basically, yes.
I actually have a couple of characters who are half dragonborn. And it should be noted that half dragons are significantly more powerful
because they have a direct tie to something remarkably more potent in terms of lineage.
Yeah, half of a true dragon is greater than a lesser dragon.
Oh, crap. So you're not saying she's becoming a dragon. You're not saying she's becoming a dragon, but she's becoming something more powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
And tack
Yeah.
on to this, her magic her magic as a sorcerer is still growing and evolving. This is
Yeah.
Ander, you have certain colleagues back at the Mage College who you're pretty sure would explode with just sheer befuddlement at what on earth you're witnessing at the moment.
Tell me.
Just I'm just glad Tess is on our side is all I can say as a player, because Tess sounds like BBEG stuff.
Potentia.
Yeah, she very well could, especially if she starts learning how to balance out her different dragon breeds and starts learning how to switch between them.
Fortunately, though, it seems she is very focused on the red.
Yeah. Ander rubs his chin because he is on some level he is on some level very tempted to push her to experiment with this because this is very interesting for him. On the other
hand,
very interested in maintaining her safety.
It's like, on one hand, science, on the other hand, life.
So, I'm going to do a quick roll real fast on my phone here.
Oh dear.
We're gonna have Ander.
Ander is making a decision.
Okay. Ander rubs his chin and he says, I think with your friend's assistance that we should perhaps attempt some experimentation with your breath weapon as we go forward.
Try and see if I can spit anything other than fire?
Indeed. While you're this early in your development, it may be possible for you to alter the trajectory of your development. And if we can, perhaps even form a balance of sorts that would allow you to utilize multiple elemental weapons.
Oh, by the way, she kind of taps the side of her head. They're, glad you've, taken me on as an apprentice. While they guide me the best they can, it is hard for them to be a more active influence since they are only aware of what I am aware of. Their awareness is limited now that they are within me.
I'm glad I meet their approval. I hope I continue to do so.
The red one does think the blue we're dealing with has gotten a bit too big has gotten a bit too brash for her station.
I will still attempt to deal with this conflict without violence, if possible. Especially given what we've learned about this blue dragon's abilities. If she really is, she is really dealing.
Half-dragons have more direct relations with true dragons. They're arguably superior to most dragon-type creatures. True, but it does depend on what the other parent is.
Yeah, a half-dragon rat is not exactly going to be very impressive.
It's still really impressive to other rats, but at the end of the day...
I mean, technically a half-dragon rat could still probably pull off a breath weapon.
But
5e
Scale.
rules, a half-dragon rat's breath weapon would actually be the same as a dragon wyrmling. So
Granted,
that would be,
according to
in its own way, terrifying, but...
just a little
Yeah.
fire-breathing rat just like pull on its tail and fire just brrr.
Yeah,
That
it's
would be
like
a
it.
cool, that would be a cool idea. Let's.
For like a little familiar or something, but let's leave that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Tess sort of looks at you for a moment, clearly deep in thought. Is there any way I could learn to do the sorts of things you do?
I'm a summoner? Potentially. My magic abilities are, on some level, unknown even to myself. My college didn't even think that what I'm doing is even possible.
But clearly it is. We've seen Grimgarl with our own 2 eyes.
Indeed.
By the way, that was possibly one of the most frightening things I've ever seen in my life.
I imagine it would be quite shocking for anyone, let alone someone who's got a bit of dragon blood in them. I hope your friends weren't too disconcerted with what Grimgarl did.
Oh, they are of the mind that that creature was too far gone and needed to be dealt with anyway. The fact that it was dealt
Indeed.
with in a way that did not cause harm to anyone else is simply did not cause harm to anyone else or to me is a bonus. It needed to be dealt with. They do not fault you for dealing with it.
Yes. So, I could potentially teach you, but I would have to learn a bit more myself.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I'm honored to know that you would want to follow my same path.
Well, I'm not really sure who else I'd follow.
Fair. I will help you with your sorceress abilities. On some level, my power on some level, my power as a summoner is similar, though. And that style of magic is much better documented than what I have.
Basically, get the sorceress abilities under control, and then figure out possible summoning.
Indeed. And depending on how your development goes, you may become powerful beyond the need for any sort of familiar like Grimgarl. You are very rapid. You may become, for lack of a better way of putting it, you may become your own monster.
If doing so means I can prevent what happened to me, then I will gladly take the title of monster with my own 2 hands.
I mean that in terms of strength, not in terms of your appearance or nature.
I said
hope
what I
you understand.
said.
Also, in the chat, hi Wind.
There's been a lot of plot developments, some more subplots and plot hooks have been uncovered. The party has some vague idea of how to progress while they're in the city, and Ander has discovered he is traveling with 2 walking embodiments of thesis papers.
Yeah. They're
2 walking
Yeah.
embodiments of thesis papers.
Yeah, 2 entirely unique magical entities.
One of whom
That have-
brought about by mad science, the other seemingly by accident.
Yeah. So, Ander is going to be doing research on 2
His-
of our party members.
Fortunately, he's not going to be a weirdo about it. But anyways,
Yeah.
I've just realized it's like 1:30 in the afternoon.
So we probably need to call it done here.
Yeah, I will. Next week, we should probably try and. Now, I say try because I fully understand running D&D is like herding cats, but there's a lot of stuff for you guys to investigate in the city. There's Vesta's possible heritage. There's that agent of Bahamut that's in the city. There's Ed's dealings with the other nobility. We have a lot to do.
Yeah, Akagi.
And I will say this has
Akagi
only
is going-
shaved 1 day off your guys' deadline to get to Raven's Nest. That's the town name. To get to Raven's Nest,
Loft.
Loft.
to get to Raven's Loft before the blue does.
Yeah,
You still have 13 days.
yeah,
I will be
We know
keeping
that.
track of the days because I can and I should.
Yeah, that is a good idea to do, yes.
We should end with this. It's not gonna be a moment the same as Calliope with Akagi and
Them. It's just those
Elara.
two. It's Akagi drunkenly babbling about whatever crosses her mind, while Elara essentially does the fantasy equivalent of cross stitch.
But more like she is basically have a bit of a talk with her. It's less figuring. It's a mixture of them comparing family
Oh.
situations and Akagi feeling rather. And Akagi feeling a bit pissed at the people who raised Elara.
At Elara's lineage, at the people who caused Elara to end up in her current state. I will say this at this point, since you guys are in the in-room where it is some modicum of private, she is in her true shape.
Yeah, Akagi basically is. This is about as much as I'm willing to do with Akagi in her drunken state.
Just the two just talking with each other. Okay. We are at like 3 hours and 15 minutes, and I do need to eat lunch. So
Yeah.
we are gonna
Yeah, we're gonna call it.
Yeah, we are going to call it here. Thank you all very much for stopping by. Next week, the party is going to delve more into the various subplots they've discovered. The aftermath of Merrick's fun little Mission Impossible is going to be explored. And the party will possibly have more fun in the big city.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, just to let you
That's
know,
gonna be
Merrick,
fantastic.
whoever does the aftermath, they will have to bring Merrick along because, if I'm to be honest, this involves this will involve us getting in contact with because
We will need to bring Ed along because this will involve getting into contact with the family Merrick kinda broke into the house of.
yeah,
I love how the party, instead of going, hey, we can help you with this birth certificate issue, just went, you know what? You know what'd be great? Breaking and entering!
Let's just break in and deal this ourselves. Because, you know, the people who have a vested interest in getting this paperwork and making sure it is destroyed, and who understand that the fate of the Empire rests in destroying this paperwork, definitely aren't gonna freak the fuck out when they don't find it. That is exactly what is not going to happen. Yeah, they're just going to throw up their hands and shrug and go, oh, well, I guess it doesn't exist. Yeah, that's going to be what's going to... It's like, oh, I guess it's gone. I guess it's not our problem anymore. That can in no way backfire on us.
Rap, I gotta hear the sarcasm.
I hope so.
Anyways, thank you all very much. Anyways.
I remember distinctly the responsible voice of Ander, in their head saying, hey, this is a bad idea.
And they did it anyway. Anyways, thank you all very much for stopping by, and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye for now.
Bye bye.